Was good. We back.
What's up?
Hey, the clock isn't moving though. Oh, there we go.
There we go. We got action.
Man, this is live.
Man.
This is live. Man, what's going on, everybody? Man, what's going on, man?
This was very close to being live, bro.
Man, for sure, man. You know what I'm saying? Impromptu live, man.
Technically, it is live, man. We are going live.
Right?
Right. Yeah, you're right.
When the people are watching this is going to be live. It's going to be live,
man. Time travelers, bro. Come on.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
It's wild, man.
I don't even want to bring up that rapper. I was about to talk about it, but forget it.
Yeah.
Don't do that on YouTube, bro. They'll flag this video like a.
They'll flag it, man. Make sure to clock in. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, man. All that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Here we go.
Great Pharaoh, the gift of Troy is a fabulous fabric from the land of the 5 rivers.
Years ago, when we came to Los Angeles, I really believed that the greatness of the Raiders would be in its future.
One of them hits now. Heard back from Earth, they just shot a few of my ships down. It's safe to say I'm totally pissed. Wow, my cloaking devices just malfunction. Guess it's time for a sit down. This is the problem I got with humans, mostly the common man. Constantly fucking with energy they don't understand. Always thinking they got the upper hand. The G-forces from my maneuvers can snap your spine like a rubber band. I shouldn't waste my time, they ain't half as nice. Put a Red Bull in your coffin so your ghost can have wings in the afterlife. That's why I can roll like a belly dancer's rhinestone. It was my idea to shake the penal gland like a pine cone. My thoughts create hurricanes, tornadoes, and cyclones. A punch for me is like an avalanche of granite and limestone. You live here, now this is my home. I neuralize both your retinas, you wake up staring at the screen of your iPhone. Confused by the light plus the high tone. And now we connected from the microchip I placed next to your thigh bone. It's hard to understand cause you're mind blown, but I gotta cut communication. Your government just scrambled they spy drones.
That voice speaking Sumerian, the oldest language in human history.
I can't explain it.
What's good? What's good? We back. What is going on? We are back for another edition, man, of, guess what? I think you guys are seeing the new name of this show, the collab, Around the Shield, man. Around the Shield, man. Myself, Pharaoh NFL, obviously you see Big Mike Raider and the Severe Raider, man. We officially have made it official. This show will now be called, moving forward, Around the Shield, man. Man, I thought it was dope, man. That's a dope name, man. I appreciate everybody coming through. Let us know in the chat what y'all think, man, in the comments. But hey, man, how's everybody doing, man? Let's start there, man. How's everybody doing today?
Man, it's good, man. It's good. We're in that dead period as far as, you know, some Raider news, but we still find a way to make it happen, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
No, facts, 100%, man. What's going on with you, Severe?
Oh man, same old, same old. You know what it is, man. Some interesting stuff happening today. Some interesting topics, man. I'm ready to dive in, man, and let these people know what time it is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But let me start off right now, man. We've been talking about like what the Raiders can possibly do with this extra cap space. You know, obviously June 1st cut, Jimmy G was officially cut. His contract was not officially off the books, but I think they spread over two years. So Raiders get an extra cap space. And we've been talking about like what the Raiders can possibly do and get maybe signing another player on the roster. We've talked about running back. We talked about corner. And, you know, for me, it's been corner. And PFF recently had a top 32 heading into the 2024 NFL season. I'm going to go ahead and share this for everybody to see. And just let me know what your thoughts is right now. Because right now, is this a lack of respect to the Raiders, or is this actually a big concern for the Raiders? Let me know in the comment section in the chat. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the screen. Can you guys see it?
Yeah.
There you go. Perfect. All right. So we see right there, Sauce Gardner, man. I think that's gonna be a preview to what's to come right here. And
exactly.
Sauce Gardner is ranked number 1 right here. They got him number 1. They feel like he is the best corner in the NFL.
Yeah.
Even though I hate the Broncos, I think number 2 should be the guy out there in Denver, in my opinion. But they got Trent McDuffie at Kansas City Chiefs. What are your early thoughts on this list right now so far, Mike?
I agree with you. I think Surtain should probably be I like him at number 2. I think, at least above Charvarius Ward. I mean, Ward is he's one of the elites, but I think Surtain, just the way he handles his business, particularly when he plays us, he does his thing. So I would have him in the top 3 for sure.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, compared to, I mean, if you compare him to like Surtain, I feel like Surtain has less than some of these teams here. You know what I mean? You know the Chiefs, they got that monster in the middle that's going to be pressuring quarterbacks.
Yep.
I don't think I got to say anything about the 49ers, man. Their front seven is crazy.
Yeah.
Patrick Surtain, man, like this guy's holding it down, man. Like, and I don't know. And the one thing that kind of just lasts in memory for me is every time Devontae Adams goes against, Patrick Surtain, it's always a fight. I don't think I'll say the one game where we could say Devontae Adams reminded Surtain who he was that game where he won in overtime, where he had. But that was Surtain. That was Surtain as a rookie though, and Surtain was competing. So that says a lot about Surtain. But at the end of the day, that's Devontae Adams. But if we continue on to the list, we see Jalen Johnson, Jalen Ramsey, Jaron Alexander. I mean, Severe, are there any surprises so far on the list right now?
No, I mean Michael Carter being at 9 is a surprise for me.
Yeah.
Darius Williams being that high is kind of a surprise for me. I will put Jerry Sneed over most of the guys that we've seen so far. To be honest with you,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Branch. They got Brian Branch as a Brian Branch. I mean, I thought he was more of a safety. I think he played some nickel, but I thought he was more of a safety. I recall
Safety,
out of
maybe.
Alabama.
If anything, at best, maybe nickel corner.
Yeah, I
If
think
he played corner.
I think he probably plays a lot of nickel. I think plays a lot of nickel. I think he was drafted as a safety, but I think Jerry Sneed was technically drafted as a safety too. So
Yeah.
Rasul Douglas is the guy we had and we cut. Thank you, John Gruden and Mike Mayock.
You got Marlon Humphrey here, but for him, I think it has a lot to do with injuries. He's dropped down on this list.
Yeah.
Denzel Ward, he's a pretty good corner, but maybe injuries too as well for him.
Yeah,
that's why you got Jamal Dean, Trayvon Diggs. We already know Trayvon went down early last season, or was it early or was it middle of the season? I think he went down.
Yeah,
with an injury.
it's like the middle of the season, and that's what allowed O'Boy to kind of step up. So who we'll be seeing later on.
Yeah. So a guy right here that I wanted the Raiders to draft, but Seattle just had to stick with their. They're trying to recapture their own Legion of Doom.
Right.
Had to get Devon with a spoon, but it is what it is. They end up getting them. Carlton Davis, who's now with the Detroit Lions, former Tampa Bay Buck. Stephon Gilmore, free agent. Free agent.
Yeah,
we might be able to get him on the cheap.
Yeah,
maybe.
But he might. But then this is what Severe might be. If you want to go ahead and read this right here.
Yeah, the 734 yards he allowed in 2023 were the most he's allowed since his rookie season. So I think he's a guy that's on the decline, and I think the Raiders they're in a situation where they're looking for people that are either kind of at their peak already or on the ascent. Because I don't think they have any misconceptions about winning a Super Bowl immediately. I think they're setting themselves up over the next 2-3 years to be in contention.
Yeah, and the thing is too, when you start seeing this right here and the player is aging, it usually doesn't get better. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
It usually doesn't get better. You know what I mean? Like you might see examples of players probably contributing later in their careers as DBs, but sometimes that comes with a position change.
Exactly.
A la, Rod Woodson, former corner, Hall of Fame corner, but also a great safety for the Raiders. You know what I mean? When he first came in that 02 season. Charles Woodson. Boom.
Even Deion played safety,
Mm-hmm. Yep. So is that going to be true for Stephon? I don't know. We'll see, man. He's a free agent right now. And then as we go down the list, we start noticing no Raiders.
Yeah,
no Raiders. Derek Stingley is terribly ranked low.
Yeah,
it's
low.
It's crazy. It's almost like they did the list and then they're like, oh shoot, we forgot Derek Stingley. Like
so if you read this right here, PFF, they have their grades, and what they were trying to say, they graded him really low his rookie year, but last year he stepped up in a big way with the 85.3 grade in their eyes, their grading system. So, a lot of people like to argue like how accurate it is, but at the end of the day, like this is what they graded. So I think what they're trying to see is they want a little bit more consistency, and if he does it again this season, he'll find himself in the top 10 of these rankings next year. You can see
if you're gonna base off of 1 year, they didn't use that same type of logic with Brian Branch. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, off that same logic, Stingley should be top 15 in my opinion. But it is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah, the PFF is the same people that gave us an F for drafting Michael Penix at 10. Just remember that.
Yeah, their whole they need to make a little adjustment. But this is a guy I like, J.C. Horn, man, but just needs to stay healthy. But he definitely has some talent. Cornerback for the Carolina Panthers. I remember early on we were talking about trade scenarios, man. If Carolina want to throw in J.C. Horn, if they wanted Devontae Adams, give him a weapon. But that was like, man, that's crazy. And they finish it out with a Pittsburgh Steeler, Joey Porter Jr. So no Raiders in the top 32, man. That's the big thing that I wanted to for y'all to see, is the fact that you can make an argument that's a huge question mark going into next season.
Yeah.
Can Jack Jones continue his strong play that he was able to give the Raiders once they picked him up? Who's on the other side of Jack Jones? You know what I mean? Like that, we're pretty confident about the D-line.
Yeah.
But is that, and you know what? To a certain extent, we're pretty confident about the safety play too. Safety play last year was solid.
Yeah. Solid.
It's
solid, unspectacular, but very solid.
Right. And go ahead.
So you did mention this earlier, right? About like a lot of those guys on that top echelon of that list, they have the front seven to kind of help them out in being better corners. If that is the case, Jack Jones can be in that top 32 later on, but it's got to be proven and seen. And a second corner on the other side might make a name for himself, might not necessarily make a top 32, but can make a name for himself based on what that front line is doing. If that front four does what we all think they're going to do, Jack Jones can definitely be in that top 32 next year. Or if we did a list halfway through the season, we could see a Jack Jones breaking that 32 and changing that whole thing up. But it's going to be all contingent upon what that front four does.
Yeah, no, facts, and that's the thing too, is the fact that like if the D line dominates, they make it that much easier for the corners that we have on the roster. But at the end of the day, like it's one thing to do it in a small sample size, because that's really what it was for some of the players that did play well under AP, and there was a huge energy surge with the team when AP took over. But can they continue that on for a full season? But the good thing is that this is the third year in this defense.
Yep.
That means that the players are going to play that much faster. That means players are going to be way more comfortable, and we're going to see PG kind of like open up the playbook a little bit. We're going to see probably some crazy schemes, possibly. We'll see, man. It's going to be a lot to be excited about when it comes to the defense. That being said, the other day we actually, on the last show with me and Severe, we played some clips of C.J. Stroud, and he said something crazy, man. He was talking about Matthew Stafford and Aaron Rodgers, and if they had, if Stafford had Aaron Rodgers' career, or was in the same, if he had the same circumstances as Aaron Rodgers, he would have more Super Bowls. So let's play the clip, man. I want to see what people have to say about this, man. Let's see, share the screen.
I need another one, bro.
He might be up there with Brady and them, bro.
No, come on. No, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's
that
crazy.
was crazy.
Let me go back. Hey, because look, look, dog. Hold on. Before you do all this shit, I'm a student of the game. Stafford a dog.
He is a dog.
No, you don't understand, bro. You saying that? That's all I watch. I don't watch nobody else. I watch Mahomes at times, because Mahomes does some stuff that like you can't coach. Stafford, dog, he will beat you with the same thing every time. All that no lick stuff, I got that from bruh. Like, look, that's one of my big, like, I'm a fan of his. Like,
and he's
I go to
a great
LA,
quarterback.
I be trying to find, bro.
But
like, we
it's
got
a
the same
level to
trainers.
greatness.
I be trying to like go to where they working out and just watch.
That's all I'm
He
saying.
elite, dog.
Like Charles Barkley.
If you hold on. If you give Matthew Stafford a chance like Aaron Rodgers, I guarantee he might have had more rings for sure. I think Matthew Stafford.
Matthew Stafford had more rings than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he have another ring probably.
I'd say he had like 3-4.
He might. It's possible,
bro.
He good.
When
But
you
what
talk
I'm
about
saying is,
tough
it's
as
levels
nails,
of
dog.
greatness. You got this.
Man, I'm not gonna lie, man. After watching that clip, I think C.J. Stroud might be a hater. I think I think Aaron Rodgers for sure, like, CJ Stroud was like, "Hey man, you're my biggest. I'm your biggest fan." And Aaron Rodgers looked at him up and down and just walked away.
I was like, F you, nah.
Yeah, look. Don't get it twisted. I like Matthew Stafford, talented quarterback, good quarterback. But I mean, Aaron Rodgers, I think he did well with what he had. I mean, it's not like he had like one of the most talented teams with Green Bay. You know what I mean? Like, you can argue, what was the best coach that Aaron Rodgers ever had? Was it Mike McCarthy? Maybe. You know what I mean?
They only had McCarthy and LaFleur, right? Like, they only had two.
Yeah, I think he only had two, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, LaFleur, it looks like he's building something with Green Bay. You know what I mean? So his story is still being written, but he doesn't seem like he's a bad coach. Yeah. But I never felt like Aaron Rodgers, like, oh man, like he has way too much talent to play. Like I feel like he maximized what he had. I mean, especially because he was drafted, 20-something? The Raiders passed on him. Like, a lot of teams passed on Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah, I want to say, right, did we pass on him twice that year? Did we pass on him twice? For sure we passed on him.
We drafted Fabian Washington.
That's Fabian Washington right in front of him, one pick before him.
Yeah. Fabian Washington and Stanford Route, I think, might have got drafted that draft too as well.
Yeah. Was it? I don't know. Stanford Route was a second or third round pick, though. He wasn't a first rounder.
He wasn't a first round pick, but Fabian Washington, I know that.
Yeah. He went to Houston. I remember that for sure.
Which is crazy. So I don't know what I don't know what CJ Stroud is trying to get at. Like, what team was he referring to that Stafford was going to take? Because if you can argue, imagine Aaron Rodgers with Calvin Johnson.
Yeah, that.
Oh man, man, they would have broke records. Oh, but you know what? This just goes to show you how much of a ultimate team sport football is.
No.
Because yes, Aaron Rodgers didn't have, like a stack loaded offense, but what he did have was a defense on the other side for most of his time with the Packers. The Packers always had a sound defense and a sound team overall around him. So he wasn't necessarily carrying the way Matthew Stafford was with the Lions. So it kind of sounds a little crazy when he said it, but if you really kind of break it down, it's like, one, you're going to believe what quarterbacks say. You're going to give them a little bit of credit and benefit of the doubt because they play the quarterback position. Not a lot of us can really evaluate the quarterback position in a way that other quarterbacks can. So for him to say that, there's a little bit of merit to it. For me to say that you're ridiculous, I'm not in the place to say that, right? None of us are in the place to say that. So I'll give him some benefit of the doubt on that one. And then on top of that, like, Matthew Stafford was on a terrible Lions team, not offensively, because they went to the playoffs once, a couple times with the Lions, but they never had a defense on the other side to kind of make them that formidable team. And guess what happened when he went to the Rams? He had a defense to kind of, complement what he does and brings to the table, and he won himself a Super Bowl. And, I mean, if you break down Stafford's game, he's a pocket kind of guy. He's he processes the game. You saw one of the best passes in NFL Super Bowl history, when he's no looking and he throws that to Cooper Kupp across, that little slant route. One of the greatest routes, one of the greatest plays we've seen in NFL history, right? That's going to be one of those things. It's like a highlight of all the Super Bowls. That's going to be one of them that's on that list. And I think that, CJ Stroud saying that, he's taking in how Stafford breaks down the game, how he processes the game, his first, second, third read, things like that, his technique, how he approaches the game. All that is taken into consideration. But do I think he's better than Aaron Rodgers? I don't think so. But I see where he's coming from to an extent.
Bro, when I think of Aaron Rodgers, I think we're so used to him. Remember when he first came onto the scene? It was like, what? The accuracy on these deep throws. Like, he was kind of the first wave of these quarterbacks.
And he had wheels too.
That could beat you with his legs, but beat you with his arm and be accurate downfield. It was just like, damn, like,
Yeah.
This dude is crazy.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying? But Severe, what are your thoughts on the clip, man?
Yeah, man, I agree with a lot of what Big Mike was saying. I can kind of attest. I mean, I can understand where CJ Stroud is coming from. Because if you look at just in terms of talent, Aaron Rodgers may be the most talented player we've ever seen at the position, right? It's arguably he's top 5 for sure. Just in terms of what he can do with his arm, what he can do with his legs, just the off schedule stuff, the instruction stuff. He can do it all. And the fact that he's had some pretty good offensive players. Devontae, James Jones, the guy that we had for a while. I forget my guy's name. However, yeah, the white receiver. I forget his name.
Oh yeah, Jordy Nelson.
Jordy Nelson, Michael Finley. Like he's had some offensive weapons, and the fact that he only has the one Super Bowl, one Super Bowl appearance. So I think that I think
done anything though.
What happened?
They haven't done anything outside of Finley. His career got shortened because of a injury. Yeah. But Cobb, outside of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, Kyle kind of follows Aaron Rodgers everywhere he goes. That's his guy. So, but all these. So, but he's had. I mean, Devontae left Aaron Rodgers, and Devontae still Devontae. So,
that's true.
He's had some. He's had some weapons, and the fact that he's only went to one Super Bowl, only won one Super Bowl. I can kind of see where he was saying maybe if you put Matthew Stafford in that same situation, talent for talent, Aaron Rodgers is a more talented player, but just some of the things that have plagued Aaron Rodgers is that his postseason failures, and in terms of games where he kind of came up small, where you expected him to have bigger games. I think about the 49ers game, right? The 49ers game where they essentially that they win that game, they're probably going to the Super Bowl. And I think he's come up short like that a few times, man. So it's I can see where he's coming from. You can definitely make an argument.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying, and maybe I was doing a little too much about like, what was he talking about? Yeah, you guys name some players. You start talking about like, all right, outside of Calvin Johnson, the talent level kind of dipped. But
I'm on Green, man. Like at running back too. Like I don't even go into all the running backs. I can't even remember.
Amon Green was like, how many years did Amon Green played with Aaron Rodgers?
He played a few years, but remember
that was mostly with Favre. Amon Green,
I think so. Yeah, it may have been with Favre.
Yeah, Amon Green was with Favre.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ryan Grant, Ryan Grant was more. Ryan
Grant was him. Ryan Grant was him.
Ryan Grant, sure. Aaron Jones, yeah, like he don't get me wrong, he has played with some talented offensive pieces, but I just felt like the 49ers every time they played the Packers, and I don't know if this is on Rodgers, but every time they played the Packers, the 49ers were the more physical team.
Oh yeah,
they physically dominated the Packers. I don't know how to explain it. Like Green Bay was way more finesse, and San Francisco just punched them in the mouth. And
yeah,
Packers never.
That was their rush defense. That was the Packers' rush defense. That one of those times, because didn't Mostert go over for like over 200 yards or something like that? Like,
yep,
he went off on the Packers one of them years.
You could take it all the way to Kaepernick. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like them days with Kaepernick, like. Those, Jim Harbaugh.
Yep.
The Jim Harbaugh led 49er teams. We all know what type of teams that Jim Harbaugh likes to coach, physical teams. And they always were the better team. It just is what it is. And I know we live in a day and age where, it's all about the quarterback. And they want to paint that picture that it's all about the quarterback. And, if you don't got that it takes, you have to have a good quarterback, but also you have to have coach, you got to have coaching, you got to have, you got to have pieces around you in order to win, especially that big one, especially in the playoffs. And every time, I don't know, growing up, every time we seen Green Bay in the playoffs, they always ran into teams that were better. Maybe it's
there's always that one team. It was the 49ers twice. It was the Seahawks with the Legion of Boom defense. Like they always ran into a team that was better than them. But I will say this about CJ Stroud, like pro comparison, right? If you're talking about quarterbacks to compare him to, CJ Stroud isn't necessarily a guy that's going to take off and run on you. Similar to what Stafford is, right? Stafford's going to sit in the pocket and break you down. CJ Stroud does the same things. So for him to kind of watch a Stafford and kind of model his game, I'm not saying he models it completely, but he's saying that this is a guy that he wants to learn from. Is saying basically, this is the type of quarterback that I want to be. This is the type of quarterback that I am currently. So I think that's what he means by that. And maybe he's he's laying it on thick a little bit, saying if they switch and this and that. But CJ Stroud, comparing him to a Matthew Stafford is definitely I can see that down the line, especially as he matures as a quarterback.
Shout out to Stafford, man. He played for the Detroit Lions. At the end of the day, they're not known as the best organization out here in the NFL streets, man. Like at the end of the day, like they had their fair issues with revolving door at head coach, players on the team. It's kind of similar to the Raiders. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Can I also tie it in just a little bit, because I know what people are saying right now. This is a Raiders podcast. Why are you guys talking about stuff that's not Raiders related? We should have traded up to get CJ Stroud. Does that help you guys? There you go. Hey, now we can continue.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, it's facts, man, facts.
But there's always going to be that one person in the chat that be like,
huh? Right. Man. Every time, bro.
Man.
Yeah, man. But we're at the end of the day, we're NFL fans, man. We, as well as the Raiders, obviously. So we just wanted to get into some of the things that's been happening lately. And CJ Stroud has had a couple of things that was said in that podcast. Definitely check it out. $1 million worth of game. Shout out to them. Doing good things out here. But let's move it along, man. Let's bring it back. We'll bring it back, man. And third week of OTAs. The last week of voluntary OTAs before next week, which is mandatory minicamp, June 11th to the 13th. But this week's the third week of OTAs, and we heard some good things. Quarterback play is picking up a little bit. Early on, we heard the defense was kind of dominating. Makes sense. Third year in that system. You playing against players who are just learning a new system that's being implemented by, Lou Getsy. We heard, obviously AOC, there was a period in red zone period where he threw 4 straight touchdown passes, a couple of tight ends. That's good to hear. That's been a huge, I don't know how, when's the last time the Raiders, I got to look this up, man. The last time the Raiders have been efficient in the red zone. The last time, this is going to be a bonus question.
You got to define efficient.
Efficient, top 15 in the red zone.
Top 15.
Man,
I don't know.
Man. I don't know.
Last time we made the playoff. Last time we were like actual contenders in the playoffs.
So I'm gonna hopefully by the end of the show I'm gonna pull up the answer to this. But yeah, the last time I'm gonna put this question out. The last time the Raiders were top 15 in red zone efficiency. So the touchdown percentage. Let's say touchdown percentage, because obviously we've been to the red zone. We'll kick these field goals. Shout out John Gruden. He loved to get down there and be like, you know what? Instead of going for it on 4th and inches or 4th and goal, I'm gonna take this 3. I'm gonna take the points.
Man.
So
it's probably been a while. I'm sure it's been a while.
Yeah, it's definitely been a while. But let me go ahead and put up some of the players that actually didn't practice on Tuesday. I'm gonna put this up on the screen so people can see. As you can see, the notes here. Raiders had 12 players who didn't practice Tuesday. Running back Britton Brown. Hey, this dude, is he gonna make it to training camp?
It's a wrap for him. He might not make it to mandatory minicamp.
I'm hoping like he can get out there and compete, but is he? Everything good for him? I mean, this is a big opportunity for any running back on this team. I know Zamir White is a guy that is definitely the guy that's going to be leading that room. But you never know. Like if someone kills it in training camp, that's going to be a guy that's going to be someone that the Raiders can keep an eye on. If let's say Zamir White struggles running the ball, or whoever struggles running the ball, a guy like Britton Brown who probably played well all the way up until through training camp and preseason, but it's not looking too good for him. Devontae Adams, we haven't. Hey man, he's like, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
I ain't coming to no voluntary OTAs, man. Jackson Powers Johnson, he's out. Man,
Yeah.
Hopefully he's good, man. Rookie, we're excited about him.
Yeah, but he's my favorite draft pick.
Yep, especially he's gonna be playing a new position. He has experience playing
left
in the
guard.
Yep, he has experience playing in the interior O line, but I think most of it is right guard and center.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if he's ever played left guard, but offensive tackle Colton Miller. Hopefully all is well with Colton Miller. That left side, they still have
left side looking shaky.
Yeah. It's funny, we were going into the offseason, we were concerned about the right side, tackle, right guard. Now we're concerned about the left side.
Yeah.
John Jenkins, Nesta J. Silvera, I don't know what's going on, man. Matthew Butler, Max Crosby. I'm not concerned about that one. We all know Max Crosby, he's built up, a little bit of cachet, man. TJ Franklin, Ellerson Smith. Yeah. And linebacker Darian Butler. So another guy that you gotta show up, man. You gotta show up, but it might be tough for them to make the team now. OTAs are voluntary, so none of these players is required to practice. Though Adams hasn't practiced during OTAs yet, he's still been working on building a rapport with the quarterbacks. And I'm gonna put this here, and you can see Minshew saying that he's had a ton of conversation with Devontae. And, a lot of the stuff they ran with the Packers, they're going to be running it with Getsy. So that's good. I'm sure Devontae's like, man, I don't need to practice. I've done this like so many times. I'll be there at minicamp. I'll be there in training camp. We'll be good. When the quarterbacks hit me up during the offseason to catch some footballs, I'm going to be there. So I think Devontae is just like, you know what, this is an offense I know back in my hands.
Exactly.
So it's not going to be a big deal. But yeah, man, Kuntz, some of the assistant coaches were able to talk to the media, Raiders media, the media. Any thoughts on what you heard from the players?
Yeah, it's funny because first they did the press conference with Gardner Minshew, and then they did Kuntz, and then they went with Aiden O'Connell. But one thing I noticed with the two quarterbacks is that they pretty much had the same answers, even down specifically to when they were talking about, how practices are going. They were like, oh yeah, we're having some ups and some downs too, right? They both kind of mentioned the ups and downs, which is pretty much expected right now for that offense. It's an offense still trying to figure out, they're trying to do the basics. But one thing that I think it was either, I get the two mixed up now because they pretty much said the same thing, but one of the quarterbacks said that the defense is throwing more complex things at them in practice right now because they're so ahead of the curve. This is their third year under that system. And to me, that gets me excited for down the line what the offense is going to do, because if they're seeing these kind of looks now, it's only going to sharpen them, make it look stronger by the time training camp comes. And as soon as we kick off for week one, they're going to be good to go. So that hearing that had, kind of got me excited and had some high hopes for this offense. Seeing those, more advanced looks now is only going to help them later.
Yeah. And before we get to you, man, I forgot to play this clip, and I think it might be a good segue to what Big Mike is talking about here. And it's pretty much the Rush podcast, featuring obviously Max Crosby and his whole crew. They had Andre James on there. Hold on one second. Let me put this up. and I'll play this clip here, and this is James talking about. Let's see here, the new system with the Raiders here.
We're about to get into OTAs coming up, man. It's going good. Yeah, just learning this offense and everything. Yeah, excited, man.
Is it much different than what you guys were?
It's a lot different.
Yeah,
a lot different, man. A lot of zone. It's similar to kind of what we did the first couple of years, like back when we were here in 2019.
Yeah,
but a lot different from what we were doing like the past couple of years.
Hell yeah.
So, but I'm excited, man. I think it fits like a lot of the offensive line, like who we are, like a lot of athletic dudes, big athletic dudes who can run.
Yeah.
So I'm excited, man.
Yeah, I think it fits you even better. It's allowing you to use your athleticism, move around. That 49ers system it's different, bro. That West Coast zone, multiple pullers, like that shit is difficult to deal with.
It is, bro. You add a whole lot of different elements, you know what I mean? And then you add the play action off of it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what I mean? It's hard to defend. It's
deep crossing routes.
100%.
Yeah. Do you pull a lot in this offense? Are you going to be pulling from the center position?
I mean, we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. It's all depending on kind of like the defense, what they line up in, and if it allows me to. So, but yeah, I love to. I mean, you look at dudes like Jason Kelsey getting out there and he's an animal.
Hauling ass.
Exactly. That's a dude I've looked up to a long time. And just like, that's a dude you want to model your game after.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But like, he's been doing it at a very high level for a long ass time.
While being undersized.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And he can move, especially for being older dudes. Like, I was looking at some of his stuff like a couple years ago. I'm like, this dude's in his 30s doing it?
So that, he starts getting into Jason Kelsey. We all know he's a great player, but the main thing that from the clip though I wanted to get from was how excited he was to play in this system, because we all know that James, he's not the biggest guy at center, and last couple of years, he wasn't drafted to play in McDaniel's system. You know what I mean? They're trying to play a power scheme. He's not the biggest guy. He struggles against power guys, bigger guys. So for him to get into a system where it kind of uses his athleticism, one of his biggest strengths, I think that's a big plus, and you can see how excited he is. But Severe, man, what do you take from what James is saying over here, man?
Yeah, man. Some of what they talked about was that, first of all, that they're going to be utilizing their athleticism. I think that's going to be a massive, massive benefit for him. I think not only for him, but for Dylan Parham as well. I think Dylan Parham is a guy that will be able to he's also a guy that was drafted, where he can move. He's a guy that's not, he's not one of those, sit in the box, and he has some athleticism to him. And I know a lot of people were kind of saying he was a little bit undersized when we drafted him, but I think this system fits him well. I think Colton Miller is a guy that can fit in just about any system, and I think he'll be good. Oh, snaps. Okay. And I think he'll be good. And then, I just think, and one of the things they really said was that he is, we're going to be a run first team. We're going to be a team.
Severe, I think we lost you. We can hear, we can see you, but it's the audio went out.
Yeah, you got muted.
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit. Just like turn it up.
Turn it up. Okay, cool. Can you hear me now?
Just make it louder.
Now?
Yeah, it's cool.
Oh, yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's
cool.
Better?
Yeah.
Better right now?
Yeah.
Better right now. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what happened from now, from the beginning.
You're good.
Okay, so we'll edit all that out. So I'll just start back from. I just start.
No. We heard you, but I noticed that you weren't connected to your mic, so that's why I said that. But
okay,
yeah, go on, man.
But okay then. But yeah, I mean the fact that we're going to be a run first team. So they talked about that kind of during the pod, where that they're going to lead with the run. So that means we're putting a lot of responsibility of the success of this offense on not only this offensive line, where we're going to have 2 new starters, conceivably at right tackle and at left guard, but also a guy in his first year starting at running back in Zamir White. So the fact that they're putting that kind of trust in those guys, man, it can go one of two ways, man. It can either be it could be a success in the right move, or it can prove disastrous, and it could cost us the season, because this system, this outside zone system, it is run heavy. It is run heavy, and if you don't have guys that are able to execute it, either carrying the ball or blocking it up, it could be, we could be in for a long one.
Yeah, no, facts, man. And the Raiders are interesting, man. They have like a combination of like really good veterans on a team, great players at certain positions. Like you got Devontae Adams at wide receiver, right? How does he impact the team? How does he impact the offense? Obviously, you got a leader, you got a captain, but then we just started off the show talking about like the top 32 corners in the NFL, and none of them are Raider corners. Sure, I'm sure the corners on the Raiders team, they're hearing all the noise here. The lack of respect. I'm sure the coaches are going to use that to their advantage. But you're going against one of the best receivers in the NFL, in Devontae Adams. So that's going to make Jack Jones that much better. Whoever's starting on the other side, maybe hopefully Jacorian Bennett, guy takes a second-year leap at corner, maybe takes a hold of that outside corner spot, and he's going against a guy like Devontae Adams. That's going to make him that much better. And then you got the offense going against the defense. We all know the defense right now is the strength of this team. And if they can figure it out and just be a solid offense with a good to great defense, I feel like that's good enough to make playoffs. So
yeah, I agree. And to me, a lot of these experts don't watch the Raiders and they don't watch the games. They're just looking at rosters. And I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who this guy is. So therefore, they're going to be 6-11 because the quarterback is not in the top 32 according to this guy and this guy. And he doesn't have the swag or the certain he doesn't look a certain way. So we got to knock him down just a little bit because of that. And then they do that from different position to position, but not looking at the circumstances, right? We're in year 3 of a defense, same defense. We got the best defensive end in the NFL, arguably, right? We got one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL, arguably.
Yeah.
The other side, we got a young defensive end, 2 young defensive ends, if you want to count Tyree Wilson, who is healthy, ready to go. Linebackers who can get the job done. And when you got a front 7 that can get the job done, it makes your secondary better. And what else will make your secondary better? Going against the best wide receiver in the NFL. Like, that's the thing that people aren't looking at. And that's the reason why I think that we're going to shock a lot of people, because the circumstances dictate that we're going to be a very competitive team this year because of that.
Yeah.
I mean, and one thing I will say about Andre James is that he looks like Jadena if he gained like 80 pounds. He's a classic man.
Classic man.
He's a classic man. But if you look at when we had Gruden and we had this system, right, like more of a West Coast type system, we had, and the talent, I will say the talent was better, but we had what was considered one of the best offensive lines in NFL. And, we got to last year and a half, our offensive line, well, it was semi well regarded. I think in the public opinion, it wasn't as well regarded. I think PFF had us like top 10, but most people with the eyeball test didn't think this was a good offensive line. And now we're kind of going back to that same system that we had before. So I think that hopefully our offensive line kind of follows that same track where we're once again considered, one of the better units in the league.
Yeah, man. I'm excited, man. I think there's a way. I see what the Raiders are planning to do, and I think there's a way to do it, and I think they can do it. Like there's a really good chance they can do it. I mean, we're confident in that defense. That run game just need to show up. Getsy needs to, hopefully develop an offensive scheme led by Devontae Adams, and hopefully, guys at quarterback, AOC, Minshew, they could just, all they got to do is play solid football. Don't turn the ball over. They're not here to take over the game. Just manage the game, and hopefully the defense shows up. I think the Raiders have a good chance of competing next year. It's just certain things, just like every year, certain things got to go the Raiders' way in order for it to happen. But I think there's a good chance for that. But yeah, that was the third week of OTAs, man. There's not a lot going on, but that's the noise that we're hearing. Obviously, shout out to the Rush Podcast. They had James. Make sure to check out that podcast episode with them. They got into UFOs and all types of stuff in that podcast. Make sure to check it out.
Life in Utah.
And then, Utah and all that stuff. But yeah, man, that's what we're hearing. Hey, slowly but surely, they're figuring out that offense. AOC was able to play well. I think Minshew's probably there. They're neck and neck as far as the competition goes. And it's still early. We won't really know until like training camp and would you think they're definitely playing in the preseason, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
They would have to. Both would have to. Yeah.
Right. They would definitely have to play. If this is going to be the competition going down to the wire, they would have to play in the preseason because we're kind of used to quarterbacks not playing in the preseason.
Yeah. I mean, one of them will have to like super separate themselves where it's like they're just far and away like, all right, you know what? Let's shut this thing down. This is our guy. These are going to be our starter. Let's close up shop. But even then, though, like you have to take what happens in preseason and what happens in training camp. That's one kind of evaluation period. But you also kind of want to see, okay, you know what? Can he carry this into some pseudo game situation? So even if a guy kind of has a better training camp, you still would conceivably want to see what they do in preseason games as well.
Yeah. And shout out to the Raiders assistant coaches, Mike Caldwell, Ricky Manning Jr., and Gerald Alexander. They were able to talk to the media for the first time, and we actually got a clip that we want to play here of Ricky Manning Jr. So I'm going to go ahead and play this clip, and we'll react to it real quick here. All right, so this is Ricky Manning Jr.
Then there's other guys like DeCamerion and MJ that are in the fire, like you just talked about. How does that change the pace of how you coach and teach, knowing that you got guys that understand it and have done it for quite a period of time, and then guys that are just learning?
Well, the great thing about having a head coach as a former player is he understands that. So how our schedule is, it sets it up time where we be with the rookies a little bit more than we are with the vets to slow it down for them and explain it to them a little bit further. We have ample time, even more time than I've ever had with rookies my years of coaching. So that way right there allows us to kind of get to them where I know it may be fast for them and it may be a lot of things. And that way they can get the game plan a little bit slower and different.
Then there's other guys like DeCamerion and MJ that are in the fire. Like,
go ahead and move that here. But yeah, man, what were your thoughts on that clip, Mike?
Man, I love to hear it, man. I mean, especially getting those young rookies kind of caught up to what everybody else is doing. That's only going to make the team stronger. And I just love the energy that these coaches are coming out with. Man, you guys remember the press conferences from last year and the year before? Like, man, it was like going to a funeral. You know what I mean? Like it was just bland. You weren't getting anything out of it. But we can go week by week, pick a coach, and he's going to give us a solid soundbite and give us something to hold on to. And we got exactly what we wanted to hear as far as what the DBs are doing. And what their process is. I just love the energy coming from that defense and the coaches. And I hope it holds up, through training camp and beyond, because what they're doing right now is high energy, high tempo, and just hopefully they don't get burned out from that.
Yeah. And speaking to the energy that you're talking about, I mean, there's a lot of former players on this coaching staff.
Yeah.
So that has something to do with it. And I think they talked about that. I think the coaches talked about that, how they're able to relate to the players and connect with them in that way because they've been through it. I know Ricky Manning Jr. kind of mentioned that as well in his presser. But Severe, what did you get out of the presser overall from these coaches, including Ricky Manning Jr.?
Yeah, kind of the same thing, man. Just the fact that a lot of these guys are players, so they're able to relate, really well with what the players are going through. They're able to teach it a little bit differently because they've actually been in the fire and they kind of know what it takes, you know, like from their own experiences, like things that could have been done better, things that, you know, maybe they shouldn't do, maybe some things that they should do. And I think that's valuable, man. You know, one of the things he, like just what he's talking about right now, like in terms of the amount of time he gets to spend with the rookies. I know a big concern last year when they had that player survey was, you know, was the players' time being spent efficiently? And if you have some veteran guys, you know, you don't have to keep these guys, you know, hopefully this would be the hope, but you don't have to keep these guys in these meetings and in these, you know, film sessions as long as the rookies, because they're veteran guys. Some of those synapses, some of that stuff should connect quicker with them. But these younger guys, you know, they need that kind of help. And, you know, the question preceding that was a question about Jacorian Bennett. And he talked about, you know, how Jacorian Bennett kind of got thrown into a fire and when it was rough for him. And now things are kind of slowing down. And, you know, Antonio Pierce was on staff last year. He probably saw that. You know, he saw these things happen in real time. And he was probably thinking, like, you know what, if this guy maybe had a little bit more time, you know, he had a little bit better coaching, maybe things would have been different for him. So he kind of took that experience right there and also some of the things he learned as a player, and he's actually applying it to how he's running his team right now. So I think that all that stuff is valuable, man. So I'm liking the direction so far, but you know, I have to preface it's all sunshine and roses until, you know, until remember I talked about this last year when we picked up Marcus Peters, and everybody's, oh yeah, man, Marcus Peters, oh man, he got that swagger, and I was like, yeah, but it's cool, you have all the swagger you want till you out there getting cooked, and then all that talking don't mean nothing. So, you know, so all these feel goods, all that stuff this is the time for them right now, right? You know, this is like this hope springs eternal before the games really start, and you know, the real test is can this energy and this good feeling, does that turn into wins? Because on the Rush podcast, you know, like I think Max talked about it when they picked up Devontae, he's like, man, we going to the Super Bowl. Like, we about to win the whole thing. And I'm sure that was the feeling until them losses start piling up. So I think this team is different. You know, Antonio Pierce is obviously different than Josh McDaniels. The coaches he's bringing on is different than the coaches that the previous regime brought on. But, you know, it's all good to feel good. But let's see if that turns into wins.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, man, we'll see how it shakes out, man. You're right. It is just OTAs. There's a lot that can happen between now and then, but the great teams, man, they have a lot of depth, and they create a lot of competition. So if one guy ain't stepping up, then the next guy would. You know what I mean? So if the Raiders can create enough competition on this team, and it's going to be hard to do that in one off season, so that's why you know some teams it takes a couple of off seasons, maybe 2 or 3. To really build that Super Bowl contender. Hopefully we have that in the next couple of seasons. Who knows? You know what I mean? Let's stay positive here. But but if they can create some competition in some key areas, then it won't matter if the Raiders bring a veteran and it doesn't work out, because the next guy is going to come in, a rookie, a young guy is going to be ready and hungry, and he's coached up well by a guy like Ricky Manning Jr., and you already know the rest is history. Because when you know, hey, when Peters went down, I mean, not went down, but when Peters was cut or let go and they went a different route, there wasn't really a drop-off in the defense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's an improvement.
It was an improvement.
A drop-off, hey, we got better.
Exactly. But then the other side to it is if there is no depth, quarterback position last year,
yeah.
You see what can happen. You're left with not a lot of options, and you're left with a rookie 4th round QB and AOC. You know, much respect to him, but it was a tough situation for him to come in an offense where it was just too much dysfunction going on with that offense. I mean, you got a rookie OC QB who's a QB coach calling the plays, and players are running into each other. They don't know what's going on. You hear the Michael Mayer saying he didn't figure out the offense until like week 8, week 9. So it's like it was a tough situation. So, but hopefully the Raiders will figure it out, man. And we'll have plenty of time to talk about it. It's a whole off season ahead of us. between now, obviously next week is going to be mandatory mini camp. So all these guys is not showing up. Hopefully they show up to the mandatory. That's when we can be a little bit more concerned if we see some players not show up, like Jackson Powers Johnson. You know what I mean? If he's not there, if Devontae Adams is not there, then we're gonna be like, what's going on here? Like, is Devontae trying to send a message here? Like, you know, it's a mandatory mini camp. It's you're one of the leaders on the team. You know, it would make sense for you to show up, but you know,
I heard he's been around the building. So hopefully it's just a situation where you know what, even for guys like Max didn't practice today, even though he's practiced the other days. Situation where, like, you know, you guys are vets, kind of, you know, save you guys. And Devontae he's much older than Max, so it may be a situation like, hey, you know what, you're not gonna put your body through all this stuff. You're Devontae Adams, right? We don't need you to go through it. Even though you would like to have him, you know, get some rapport with Gardner Minshew. If Gardner Minshew is going to be the guy because he's never played with him. He's Devontae, so I mean, it shouldn't take too long for him to get things figured out.
Yeah, and Devontae doesn't seem like that type of guy too. He seems like he's pretty straightforward. I think it seems like he's pretty good with what's going on with the Raiders. He likes the coach. I mean, Luke Getsy, someone made a point about this. Luke Getsy, that's a Devontae guy.
That's his guy.
You know what I mean? You could see
Edgar Bennett's his guy too.
Say it again.
Edgar Bennett is his guy too.
Yeah, there you go. So then, and you could see an AP when he's deciding which OC to go with, trying to figure it out. He's probably texting, you know, Devontae, hey, what do you think? What do you think of Getsy? You know what I mean? Like, what do you think of? You know, he's leaning on guys like that. So you can see that happening. But yeah, that being said, man, that wraps up third week of OTAs, man. We'll definitely be here to talk about the mandatory minicamp next week. But moving on, man. Let's move it along, man. By the way, man, if you haven't already, make sure to clock in, like the thumb, hit that like button, hit that subscribe. There you go. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. But it's that time, man. It's that time, man. You guys are joining Around the Shield. It's officially official. We got a name for the show, man. As you see it on the screen, Around the Shield. Welcome, y'all, man. Look, it's comments of the week, man. It's that time where we get into the comments, and you know what? I gotta get at y'all, man. Like, ever since the comments of the week came on, man, you guys have been scared to leave some comments. Let us know, man. If you disagree with us, it's okay. Let us know if we're wrong. If we're right, let us know. You know what I mean? It's all good. Or if you just want to just talk about anything that you want to talk about, let us know in the comment section. We actually want to hear from y'all. This is the reason why we made this segment here is to give a voice to Raider Nation and be able to conversate with you guys, man. Obviously, we're going to be conversating you in the chat, but in the comment section, sometimes people catch the replay, and it's a good way to talk to everybody. So that being said, let's go to the first comment here, and let me move this out the way. OJ Raider said 89 says, if Max is Kobe, Tyree has to be Paul Gasol, and he's speaking to our last show. He's comparing Max Crosby to Kobe Bryant, you know, the late great Kobe Bryant, and then Tyree to Paul Gasol. Man, what are your thoughts, man, on this comment?
Man, I see where you're coming from. I mean, Max is definitely Kobe. We can establish that. That's what's going on. But Tyree, he's definitely not the second in charge right now. Shout out to Reese Rock. He said Tyree is more of a Lamar Odom, and I think even then, like, that's still not worthy. I will put Tyree Wilson in yeah. And you know, he's more of a Slava Medvedenko type right now. Until
man, Slava, what that
Medvedenko, man? Ooh, that takes your boy back.
I had to get into my Stephen A. Smith bag real quick, man.
Hey, man, if you saying that, you basically calling him trash, man. I'm not gonna lie, but he was.
Medvedenko did his thing, bro.
Medvedenko did his thing. He was cool. He was solid, man. He was solid.
He was cool. But Tyree Wilson, all seriousness, man, like, he has the potential to be that Lamar Odom, right? Like, if you're
I like
comparing.
Lamar better.
Yeah,
Lamar, you know, we can see the talent in Lamar, but Lamar, there was always that what if. Like, man, what if he was just a better shooter, if he was just more aggressive, or if he was, you know, I think that was a big thing about Lamar. He was never really aggressive. He'll have one game where he'll have like 20 points, 20 rebounds, and then one game he'll have 4 points, 3 assists, and, you know, kind of like a way lesser version of Anthony Davis. You know, Anthony Davis is a better player, and more talented, but you know, you could see how like a lot of people kind of talk about his inconsistency as a player. You know, but
Lamar Odom was good for a 10 and 10, and you know whatever the equivalent of 10 and 10 is for you know in football, I can see Tyree Wilson being in that role. So you know, hopefully you know he does fall into that Lamar Odom, but Paul Gasol, not yet, not quite.
And Lamar did his best work when he was coming off the bench. That's a Tyree situation. We got Kuntz, Max Crosby, Tyree coming in off the bench. That sixth man role.
Yeah, that'll be a good fit for him for now, man. I like that comparison a lot better than Paul Gasol for sure.
Nah, facts. Nah, man. Hey, Paul Gasol is a little strong for me too, man. That's a little too strong. I think Tyree needs to. He has a lot to prove in his second year, and I think he's gonna show some improvement next year. I think he's gonna. How much? We don't know. We don't know, but we'll see, man. Full off season, he's fully healthy. He seems more confident. He's playing and he's around greatness with Max Crosby, and obviously, you know, Christian Wilkins is a good player in his own right too as well. So he's playing in a defense right now that's on an up and up. So a guy like him, he could take that jump. We'll see if he does, man. But hopefully Tyree is even better than a Paul Gasol. You know, as much as I like Paul Gasol, there's a cap on him. You know, there was a cap. Facts. So, but yeah, man. Hey, OJ, man, appreciate the comment, man.
Yeah, man.
Let's move along to the second comment here, and this is Alpha 1502, man. He says, "Look, man," and this is you know, this is to Severe. And last week we were talking about Brock Bowers, and he talked. I think you mentioned, you know, Brock Bowers didn't really have that wiggle that you would want in his route running.
Yes.
And he says, "Look, man, what tight end has a lot of wiggle in their game? I think your guys being overcritical of Brock." Now, speak to this comment, man. Let my guy Alpha know, man. Alpha 1 know, man.
Yeah, man. So I'm not asking like Brock Bowers to be like Barry Sanders, or like, you know, Charlie Garner and nothing like that. You know, like put it like this: if you think about the best tight ends of all time, how many of those guys are just pure athletes? Just think about the best tight ends, right? Maybe if you consider Jimmy Graham one of the better tight ends of all time. But other than that, even Antonio Gates, he's a guy, ran good routes. Dallas Clark ran good routes. Rob Gronkowski ran good routes. Jason Wooden ran good routes. The guys that are best guys in the league right now, Travis Kelce runs good routes. My guy that's out in Mark Andrews runs good routes. Hayden Hurst runs good, right? Like, none of these guys are these uber athlete type guys like a Brock Bowers, right? Like no, the closest to that is Dallas Clark. And even Dallas Clark ran much better routes, even early in his career, than Brock Bowers does. So it's not a situation where it's like I'm asking him to be out here like being Stephon Diggs or Devontae Adams or, you know, running China routes like Hunter Renfrow. But, you know, that ability to be able to shift your weight, you know, make a guy think you're going one way and go another way and get open for like a 5-yard gain, you know, when I need you know, when it's 3rd and 4 and I need a first down. Just that opens up your game so much more. Right now, like I said, I've watched every single reception he's had at Georgia, every target, every carry he's had at Georgia his entire career. And I can maybe name 5 times where he was able to do something like that, where he put a route on the guy and got open. He's not a guy that's going to be he's not a basketball player. He's not going to go top shelf on you and come down with the ball. You know, he's not really strong at the point at the catch point. So like there's very specific ways you need to use him, and he's elite in those areas. But that it doesn't offer much right now for you to be able to do a lot with him in terms of that kind of stuff. You can do a lot with him. You can line him up in the backfield. You can, like I said, you can run tight end screens with him. You can, you can run some dig type stuff. You can run some shallow crossers and get the ball in his hand. Like, get the ball in his hand, and he's a monster. But if I'm drafting a tight end, 13th overall, and I want a guy to be able to do more. I want him to be able to break a guy down, get open, toe drag, get out of bounds, first down. Like that's that kind of stuff right now. It's not common in Brock Bowers' game. Now maybe he has all that ability, and maybe Georgia just didn't take advantage of it. But the few times that I saw him try to do it, I wasn't very impressed with what I saw.
We'll see.
You know what, man? Like, I think that, okay, yeah, he got picked 13. It's all past us now. Draft is done.
Right.
One person, if I had to compare a Brock Bowers to anybody in the league historically, is a Chris Cooley from when he was with the Washington Redskins, Commanders, whatever you want to call them, right? They have similar, Chris Cooley was that Swiss Army knife kind of deal. He played the H-back. He was a fullback. He played tight end. I could see the same thing with Brock Bowers. He was nice. And the Commanders, Washington used him very well. Yeah. So if the Raiders use him anywhere similar to what Chris Cooley was used in Washington, we got somebody special. I think he's a lot more athletic than Chris Cooley, but he's a very, yeah. So, but if we use him the same way, we got somebody special. So, once again, I'm going to say it. I repeat myself, right? I'm going to keep repeating myself. It's coming down to what Getsy has in his bag, man. That's really what it's going to come down to, bro.
And the reports we've been hearing was kind of made like perked my ears up a little bit. I was happy to hear it. Was that they were being creative. They were some times where they were handing him the ball, and he was coming. He was in the H-back position coming out of the backfield. So if we do stick to this kind of game, because it's one thing to do it in OTAs when it doesn't count, But once the plays, once the game starts counting and it's for real, then sometimes people get in the habit of they kind of go away from that stuff. So if we stick to this plan, I think we can make it work.
Yeah, and a lot has to do with, like, and Mike, you make a good point. It's like it really depends on how Getsy uses him, but man, we got to see him suit up real quick. You know what I mean? We got to see him in preseason. We got to see some action, so we can actually see like, oh, okay, this guy can get open. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, college is one thing, but the NFL is another thing. But he was in the SEC. He did play for Georgia. It's not like he was going against scrubs every week, every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So that just we'll see how it shakes out. Severe, he's been strong about it. You know what I mean? He's not. I don't think he's not saying that Brock Bowers is trash or anything like that. It's just he just sees something in his game where he can get better. That's all he's saying. But I appreciate the comment, Alpha One. Keep commenting, man. Hey, man, we appreciate everybody's commenting. And I guess this one right here, look, this is just going to be another plug on our new show name. But this is more of a thank you and shout out to everybody who participated and tried to give us some ideas as far as what to name the show. It's not like we actually wrote them down and we just decided on Around the Shield. So it's not like we didn't consider any of the show names that you guys were able to let us know. And one of the show name that popped up was for the show name, how about the Three Amigos, man? Hey, man, we thought about it. We thought about it, but Around the Shield just fits so much better, man. Yeah. And let us know, man. If you guys don't like it, man, it'll give us something to think about. But I feel pretty good about this one, right? Around the Shield fits pretty well. And then as we grow and we keep going, man, I think it's gonna stick, man. So like I said, we appreciate everybody coming through and leaving comments. We want the comments to continue. Make sure to leave a comment and let us know what your thoughts on the show anything that we talked about, the Raiders, what to look forward to, all that good stuff. And you guys might be incorporated onto this segment, and we'll be able to talk about what you said in the comments. You'll see this on all of our channels. So if you're watching on Big Mike, leave a comment on Big Mike's channel. If you're watching on my channel, leave a comment on my channel. And obviously, if you're watching on the Severe Raiders channel, make sure to leave a comment to let us know. Also, you know what I mean, clock in, light the thumb, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Any last thoughts, Mike, Severe? Starting with Mike, man, any last thoughts? What do you want to tell Raider Nation? What to look forward to? How they can find you?
Man, you already know where you can find me. Big Mike Raider across the board. IG, X. You know, my AIM is at Big Mike Raider. You can find me on MySpace, Big Mike Raider, all the above, man. That's the one. But hey, you know what? I will say this. You know, the Pullout Kings, I did like that name, but you know what? That's not very descriptive of me. I got 3 kids, so there ain't nothing king about me. You guys get it. You guys get it.
Hey, the Pullout Kings, man. That's funny. That's funny, man. But yeah, like the man said, man, at Big Mike Raider, you can find all over social media, and obviously his YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, hit the like button, all the good stuff, man. My guy Severe, man. What are your last thoughts, man? Tell the people what they can look forward to, where they can find you.
First, I want to say, man, if you guys have a comment for me,
no facts. Y'all be leaving comments on my channel about Severe. Like, hey, it's y'all can go to his channel and leave a comment if it's something about Severe or what you thought about. It's all good, man. Just leave a comment on his channel, man. It's all good.
Like y'all out here, spread
the wealth. Spread the wealth.
Y'all out here sneak dissing like us. I feel like, bro, like just leave a comment on my channel, bro. Like, you know, I try to respond to just about every comment. You know, if it's substantive, if it's like on some nonsense, bro, I'm just gonna ignore it. But if it's a substantive comment, if you have a disagreement, bro, we could talk it out in the comment section. Like, I have no problem doing that, man. So I try to make sure I hit everybody up. But for you guys to know where to comment at, as you guys see on the screen, is at the Severe Raider here on YouTube, at the Severe Raider on IG, at the Severe Raider on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, X. Excuse me, I don't want to get that. At the Severe Raider on X, just about everywhere, man. At the Severe Raider. So holla at your boy. Do not go to Big Mike's channel. Saying, tell your boy Severe. Like, you can just tell me directly, man. But yeah, man, I got some stuff coming up, man. So working on some stuff. I'm actually working on a video right now, so hopefully I'll have it out by Sunday. Some good stuff, man. So yeah, man, about to do this thing.
Yes, sir, man. It's funny, man. When we say hit the like button, subscribe, man, we not asking for a lot, man. We really appreciate y'all support, man. We want to keep doing this, man. But you know, if you can, just hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. That's the least that, you know, we're asking. And leave a comment, man. But sometimes, man, when I say it, I feel like the reaction, huh? it's just, you like, hey, the like button, huh? I'm just messing with y'all.
Yeah, real quick, just for a quick payoff. I know we talked about it earlier. We asked when was the last time the Raiders they were top 15 in red zone touchdown percentage.
Yeah,
it was 2017. They were 8th.
Wow, Todd Downing.
Yeah, they were 8th. But yeah, that was it looked like the NFL wasn't. Let's say it wasn't a strong showing around the league that year in terms of touchdown percentage. So not like necessarily the Raiders were that great. It's just that it wasn't very strong in the league that year.
Yeah, and numbers. Sometimes numbers don't tell the whole story, man. They could be misleading because if you watch that year, the Raiders were a little bit inconsistent on offense. They definitely had a drop off from 2016. The team chemistry was off. We already know what happened in 2017, man. It was a big drop-off from 2016. We were super excited about Carr, the team, and obviously Carr got hurt in 16, but 17, man. It was I think Todd Downing he took over as offensive coordinator. Bill Musgrave, man, that Del Rio, man, I'm telling you, Del Rio has an issue with replacing assistant coaches. He tried to fix something that wasn't break because I didn't think he fired Musgrave. I think Musgrave's contract was up. And just build, like, come on, don't mess it up, man. Man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man.
Yeah. The year before in 2016, we were 13th, but we were only 0.2 of a percentage better in 2017. So we're essentially the exact same percentage. One year we were 8th, one year we were 13th. So those are the last. We had two top 15 finishes back to back, and then it's been basically all down here from there.
Yeah. And then we all know Gruden struggles in short yardage and red zone. Like his play calling, I don't know what happens to his play calling. It just struggles in the red zone. And then you got Derek Carr, who, I don't think he was making anything. He wasn't helping, but that's a whole different conversation for another day, man. We appreciate everybody coming through. Like I said, on the way out, make sure to clock out at this point. Light the thumb, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. We appreciate everybody coming through. Until next time, man. We'll see y'all. Peace.
Just win, baby. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.